These people made the nuclear bomb possible. In return, they were exploited, poisoned, and left for dead.
So close to a contaminated mine.
The politicians don't care. Most of them are millionaires.
Who here has a family member that has died related to something in the mines?
We went to learn how the government built the bomb and killed this Native American town. We started in Albuquerque and drove 40 miles to Laguna Pueblo, the heart of New Mexico's sacrifice zone. This region earned that nickname because governments and companies have exploited the land and let the locals suffer the consequences. People like Chris Shuey, a University of New Mexico researcher, have spent years documenting how this happened.
This was the largest open pit uranium mine in the world, and then in the United States, and it still is in the United States. And this whole area is contaminated with high concentrations of uranium and radium. We want to keep people and domesticated animals out of this place.
So if you went down there with a Geiger counter, would it start to tick up?
If you watch your meter, it'll go up. You have to go to the next setting, it'll go up again. And it's a very hazardous area down there. Some of the Dene Navajo elders have always talked about uranium as a naye, which means monster. The teachings were that this stuff should have been left there, that if it's disturbed, that monster will come out and adversely affect people.
From 1948 to 1982, New Mexico produced 40% of America's uranium. This uranium built the country's nuclear bombs, helping the US win the Cold War.
The uranium was due to the Cold War, uranium for nuclear weapons, but also for the nuclear plants.
Much of that mining took place in Native American communities in western New Mexico. Now real quick, if you're enjoying this video, hit that subscribe button. We started this company because we didn't trust big news companies to tell us the truth about what's happening around the world. We've got over 1 million followers on Instagram. Now we're bringing that mission to YouTube, and our goal is just to shine a light on how the world actually is. If you support that mission, smash that subscribe button. In the 40s and 50s, this area had no development, no jobs, and no money. It was an agrarian community where life had changed little over the preceding centuries. Before the mine, were there jobs, or what did people do?
Sheep herding, cattle, basically farming.
Then came the uranium mines. At first, there was more money than people could imagine.
You know, it was booming. We had brand new vehicles, furniture. It was a beautiful time for everyone.
Yes.
One of the main downfalls is there was a lot of alcoholism.
When I got out and got into the mines in '74, I was doing about $8.50 an hour. That was big money to me.
Soon, Laguna Pueblo is home to the world's largest open pit uranium mine, which is working 24/7 to get enough fuel for America's growing atomic arsenal. Twice a day, every day, the miners would detonate the rock, sending uranium dust flying and destroying the native adobe homes. Each night, the miners would come home and expose their families to the uranium dust.
My husband was a miner also. He would come home full of dirt. Just dust. That's all we thought it was. My kids at the time were little. They'd run up to him when he'd come home from work. Daddy, Daddy, jump on him. And we were contaminated.
He would come home yellow with yellow stuff, and I would help my mother, wash his clothes.
Over time, the community fell ill from a range of uranium-related diseases. Today, the mine is closed, but the environmental damage remains, and the miners and the families do too.
Who here either worked in the mine or lived with someone who did?
Who here has a family member that has died related to something in the mines?
This is my husband. 2 years before he died. 2 years. My husband gave his life to mine the uranium for them. And everybody else, as well as my brother-in-law, twice. The service and the mine.
In 1990, the government passed RECA, the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, to compensate people who worked in the uranium mines until 1971. Yet that was the year that private companies began buying the uranium, and the government therefore says it's not responsible for compensating any of the workers who worked there after 1971. Loretta Anderson is leading a group that seeks to expand RECA to include these post-71 miners. Now, a lot of you might be wondering why these people don't just move, and we asked them that.
The expression of, well, why don't you move? This is our home. This is our home, and what gives you that right of, because you need to get in there and get the uranium, why should we move? That's the most inexcusable remark A question that is asked of us, no, we're not going to move, and we're going to stay right here, because that's where we grew up. This is cultural. This is Mother Earth that we were supposed to take care of, and we are taking care of it now.
For many, time is running out.
I worked there for 11 years. I had prostate cancer, colon cancer. I'm barely surviving here. We're just dying from cancer, that's all. Cancer. He said his father-in-law he had cancer. My brother-in-law had cancer, and his sister had cancer. And I always say to myself, all my brothers and many home overseas, it died from cancer. All my brothers and veterans, they all went to the mines here from all the way to Gallup. They made it home. The cancer got it. Cancer.
My husband has pulmonary fibrosis from the mine. Please excuse him because once he starts talking, he'll start coughing.
Yeah, my name is John Maryland. I worked at the mine for maybe six and a half years. Used to work right there up on the top on the tailings pond during the windy days. That dirt, when it hit you in the face, you could just feel it stinging you, and they didn't give us nothing for it. Now I have to carry this thing around with me, and I got another one at home that I have to wear.
Most of my husband's pain, besides the fibrosis, comes because we were livestock owners. Once the fibrosis hit, he wasn't able to ride a horse. He wasn't able to help with the branding or anything that goes along with raising livestock, our horses. I dread the day that John enters the hospital. I dread it. But I know it's coming. He knows it's coming. And there's nothing we can do to stop it. The politicians don't care. Most of them are millionaires. They don't care what we're going through. I guess that's what politics is.
As the years have gone by, every time we test, there's more than 50% that is diagnosed with either kidney cancer, pulmonary fibrosis, which is relevant throughout our community, lung cancer. To me, this is the beginning of what's going to happen. And there's no going back. There are no changes. They say that even our DNA has changed. So we're carrying these on to our generation upon generation of our children, our grandchildren.
Beyond the lack of compensation, the land remains toxic. Much of the reclamation that's taken place has been ineffective.
So when the mine closed, what did they do to it?
They just left it. They left it. And then they had something called the reclamation program. I was working for the tribe at that time, and what the people did was they tried to, for the lack of a better term, cover it up.
All these nice little shaped hills, that's mine waste that's been covered up. So over the years, these earth covers on the mine waste have started to deteriorate. We could be talking about billions of dollars to clean this place up, but they haven't even got to that point of trying to speculate what a feasibility study, what to do about it. But this has got to be cleaned up because of the proximity to where the people live up here.
Last year, a bipartisan Senate majority voted to expand RECA. When the bill got to the House, though, Speaker Mike Johnson refused to put it to a vote. Republicans said there wasn't enough money.
When we go to Washington, when we ask, when we plead with our leaders to support us in just a little bit of nothing, they say it's too expensive. They tell us that, no, we're not important. So I believe with all my heart this is another form of genocide to our people.
But it's not just Republican. President Biden's Interior Secretary was a Native American from this part of New Mexico.
Now under Biden, the Secretary, I believe, of the Interior was a Native American woman from New Mexico, right?
From here. Okay.
She's from here.
She's from Laguna. I was raised with her. Her sister Zoe was one of my best friends. I love the Haaland family. Two of my colleagues and myself, we went to DC in September of 2023, and we met with her at her office. Beautiful, big, huge, ginormous place. And she invited us in and promised that she would help us. We've never gotten anything from her.
I mean, I don't think anybody out there realizes the pain that we've gone through. And we're not ranting and raving for anybody to compensate us. We just want somebody to acknowledge the pain of the Pueblo, the people.
Not only did she not advocate for these people, though, she advocated for expanding uranium mining.
There's a mine that's being in the process of startup just on the other side of the mountains on the Spanish land grant that was approved by the Interior on her watch.
Today, uranium mining is restarting in the area, not to build bombs, but to fuel power plants for AI data centers. The people here know what they believe.
When you hear like a debate about whether or not to open up a mine or oil drilling or whatever, it's normally painted as a way to create jobs, economic development, and that without it, you wouldn't have jobs. And that seems to be kind of what has happened here. How do you balance that trade-off?
I would say to me it would be, if you're going to balance it, life or wealth.
Nuclear power may be the best way to produce energy, but even if it is, something has to be sacrificed to produce it. In Laguna Pueblo, the sacrifice was the people. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. We have a great video coming out next from Militia Country. You won't want to miss that. Subscribe so you don't. See you later.